day one to day two adjustment is always maybe one of the most difficult of camp. Just how did you guys handle that today?
Well, I will know more when we look at it. I feel like, you like to look at these things like year by year, and it's almost similar stories. First emotional response would be that a little bit more tired and irritable by our players and our staff. Many in some ways that's good, and then some emotional responses that are not good. So we got to work on response and our discipline of execution and all those things that'll come out on film and certainly in our team meetings and the stuff we got to fix later. So effort, I think, pretty good. Again, I liked our plan. We kept guys out in practice and didn't lose them, again, to fluid loss and those things for the most part, which is hard to do in the South. So plan good. I just don't know how well we executed and how disciplined we were in our execution.
Helmets and shorts, always a little hard maybe to get that extra motivation. Yeah. Did you accomplish maybe what you wanted to in these first 2 days before you could put a little bit of pads on tomorrow?
Yeah, we did. I mean, I'll say this. The number one goal is to not get anyone, knock on wood, injured because we don't have shoulder pads on. It's hard for our core people to function without being able to use hands, shoulders, and to contact. It's difficult. It's called an acclimatization period, but I don't know how good it is and healthy it is for our guys. So balancing that and not getting a shoulder or something happening on the ground is always a win, and knock on wood, we didn't get anybody of that nature injured in any way. So to clear the first 2 days and do that is a really good step. Now we got a chance to start taking steps towards being a physical football team and use shoulder pad and helmet tomorrow.
Not just the first couple of days, but through the summer and everything. What has kind of stood out to you most about this team?
Well, we're in better shape. We're stronger, faster, and in better shape going in than we've ever been. That's a testament to our strength performance team as well as the guys that we have here and brought in here. Everybody's just in better shape. Our bigs look better. They can play longer. I think that would probably be the biggest takeaway. There's a pretty connected and mature approach to this thing that we'll have to challenge still yet now, but we're pretty connected as a group already, and I do think it's a pretty mature approach.
Full spring, summer, now getting into fall camp. How do you feel like the guys have kind of taken to the new offense?
So far, so good. It's not like there's a huge takeaway of penalties and issues of procedure stuff, getting the ball snapped, lining up, which we have the time to do so. So that part has been really good. The guys believe in the system. Our quarterbacks are comfortable in the system, and we've taught it very well. So it doesn't feel right now as if it were a year one of this in many ways, but we'll still have some growing pains and stuff to go through.
When you look at the defense side of the ball, on paper, there's only one returning starter,
yeah.
Justin Poe. But that side, a lot of the guys that are there now have been in this program, so it's not a reload on that side, but it's the guys that weren't starters that are having to step up. How's that transition been?
Yeah, I think, if you start at the first level of it with our D-line, there's enough guys in the Cam Currys and some young guys that you get back at your second level. Donnie Smith, Jordan Perry, who wasn't a starter but yet played a bunch of special teams and knows how it works, certainly help you. Then TJ Thompson and Luke Hodge, who played backup roles last year, to your point. Like, it isn't all starters, but yet there's a bunch of guys already at second level that know expectations, and then we got our rooms better too. Third level at DB, Justin Poe, no starting corners but Shamar Welch. You know what I mean? There's guys that have been here, Marlon, that have been here and have done it and seen how it's done, at least, that help you. And then we brought in competition to see who wins the jobs. So it may not show up as starters, but there's a lot of familiar faces that understand what the expectation is.
Staying over there, Dante made a big point last year. What he learned from his year one to year two as a defensive coordinator and the work he did in the offseason to prepare for last year. You saw it, in how the defense had played. Just talk a little bit about Dante's progression and where he's at in year three.
Yeah, I think in order to be fair, he's probably had the same progression in helping lead the defense as I have had as being head coach. Right, we're both learning that together. Although he had called plays before, he hadn't called it under these expectations and how this setting is here at Troy. And so his growth in managing expectations, holding coaches and players accountability, which is a whole different world. I just think his steps in plan and leadership, both in the meeting rooms and the coaching offices and our players, has totally changed and just doubled up as he's done it more. You've seen that same growth going into year 3 is what he's done from year 1 to 2, to your point.
Obviously, this facility is a huge resource, but how do you balance that of getting the guys acclimated to that weather you were talking about, but also taking full advantage of this?
Yeah, it's what kind of shape we'd be in if we hadn't had this shade. So we've got to remind our guys not to be too comfortable, but there's a difference between being tough and dumb. And so if we're able to make it through more practice safer and not lose as many guys to cramping and fluid loss, well, Troy's better for that, especially in the first 6 practices. So been a lot of work and research done. I've called colleagues and talked to a lot of different guys and done some math on it and tried to get some help from Marcus at Notre Dame and just how they do in sports performance, just trying to do everything right by our guys. And then there is a point where you got to go outside and say, let's beat Troy. So tomorrow night we'll go out under the lights a little bit and hide from the sun some, but we'll be outside all night under the lights. It'll be a fun night.